Your attitude is the lens through which you see the world. Change that lens, and you don't just change what you see. You change your entire life. There was once a young man named Zan, 24 years old, who lived in a quiet village cradled by green hills and winding rivers. On the surface, his life seemed ordinary. He had a family who loved him, a small home that sheltered him, and a modest job at the village mill. To anyone looking from the outside, he had nothing to complain about. But inside, Zan felt trapped. Each day weighed on him like a stone pressing on his chest. When the sun rose, he groaned at its brightness. When the clouds gathered, he cursed the rain. If work was heavy, he complained. If it was light, he questioned its value. Every simple inconvenience became a mountain. One hot summer afternoon, after a long day at the mill, Zan wandered aimlessly to the riverbank. The water ran clear and cool, winding past reeds and flowering shrubs. He sat down, pressing his head into his hands, muttering, "Why is life so unfair? No matter how hard I try, nothing changes. Everything is against me." He didn't notice at first the old traveler sitting quietly under a nearby oak tree. The man's beard was silver, his robes simple, his eyes calm yet penetrating. After some time, he spoke. "You look burdened, young man, yet you carry nothing in your hands. Why are you so heavy?" Zan glared at him. "Life is cruel. I work hard, but I remain poor. I try, but I fail. The world is against me. Tell me, old man, why is life so unfair?" The old man simply smiled. He picked up a small, smooth stone from the river's edge and placed it in Zan's palm. "Is this stone heavy?" Zan looked down, frowning. "No, it's light." "Good," the old man said. "Now hold it straight out in your hand, arm extended." At first it was easy. A minute passed, then 5. His arm stiffened, the muscles beginning to burn. By the 10-minute mark, his hand trembled violently. "Why does it hurt now?" asked the old man. "Because I've held it too long," Zan admitted, dropping the stone with a sigh of relief. The old man's eyes twinkled. "Exactly. Life itself is not heavy, young man, but the complaints, the bitterness, and the anger you carry every day, they are the weight. Your attitude makes life feel unbearable." Zan's heart sank. Could it really be that simple? That his endless grumbling, his constant resentment, was creating the suffering he blamed on the world? The old man continued, "You cannot always choose the path you walk, the storms you face, or the people around you. But you can always choose how to walk, how to see, and how to respond. That is attitude. It can crush you, or it can lift you higher than you ever imagined." Zan stared at the flowing river. The sun glinted off the ripples, each one catching the light like a tiny spark. For the first time, he understood that the river did not stop for complaints, nor did it pause for fear. It just flowed, effortlessly. Perhaps he could too. That night, Zan lay awake in his small home. The old man's words echoed in his mind. Attitude determines everything. He thought of his mornings, filled with sighs, his hours at the mill spent with resentment, the little arguments with his family. All this time, he had been blaming life, but the truth was, he had been making life heavier with his own mindset. The next day, he chose differently. As he walked to the mill, the same sun shone brightly. But instead of complaining, he inhaled deeply and whispered, "A new day, a new chance." He worked with energy, even when tasks were hard, telling himself, "This is building my strength." When clouds gathered and rain poured down, he lifted his face to the drops and let them wash over him, refreshing him instead of frustrating him. Old habits tried to drag him back into grumbling, but he fought each one with a conscious choice: gratitude, acceptance, and effort. Each decision felt small, yet each one was like a stone laid in the foundation of a new life. Days became weeks. Slowly, Zan noticed changes, not just inside, but outside too. Villagers looked at him differently. "He seems lighter, happier," they whispered. Children started following him around, drawn to the calmness in his presence. His energy lifted everyone. Even the mill workers, who had once groaned through long hours, now felt encouraged by Zan's attitude. Opportunities appeared. A farmer, impressed by his consistency and positive energy, offered him extra work. A teacher asked him to help instruct children in the village school. Zan was no longer waiting for life to hand him chances. His changed attitude made him see the chances that were always there. One evening, Zan walked back to the riverbank, thinking about the old traveler. The man was gone, perhaps moved on to another village, another young seeker. But his words remained. Life is not heavy. Your attitude is. Zan smiled at his reflection in the water. He could see the difference. His shoulders no longer carried invisible stones. His eyes had a spark of joy, a clarity of purpose. The world was the same, but he was different. He had learned a profound truth. You cannot always control your circumstances, but you can always control your mind and heart. And that control changes everything. Months passed. Zan faced new challenges. The mill grew busier. Rains came harder. Disagreements arose in the family. But he no longer reacted with resentment. Instead, he would pause, take a deep breath, and ask himself, how can I respond in a way that lifts me and others? His attitude had become his power. He began helping others too. When a fellow villager complained endlessly, Zan would quietly show them how a small shift in perspective could turn the day around. When children worried about failures at school, he reminded them that mistakes were lessons, not punishments. His influence spread quietly, without arrogance or preaching, simply by living his transformed attitude. One dawn, as Zan watched the sun rise over the hills, he felt the culmination of his journey. The sky was golden, the river shimmered, and the village slowly awoke to its new day. He realized that the stone at the riverbank was no longer just a metaphor. It was his life in his hands. And now, for the first time, it felt light. From that day forward, Zan approached everything differently. Life still had hardships, still had rains and failures, but he met them with a calm, steady heart. He had discovered that attitude shapes reality, that a single shift of mind can turn struggle into growth, obstacles into opportunity, and ordinary days into life-changing experiences. Life is not about what happens to you, it's about how you respond. Your attitude can turn obstacles into opportunities and struggles into strength. Change your attitude, and you will transform your life. If this story touched your heart, share it with someone who needs this reminder. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more inspiring, life-changing stories. Thank you for watching.